I forget again. I forget again. My God, these Archons. I tell you. Well, I went. They evaluated. Everything seemed perfect. Seems normal. However, I am still losing weight. And remember, they have to do this, and then the other root canal, and then 6 more procedures. So they gave me another appointment for the 6th of January, and they expect me to have a particular amount of weight. Because that's a lot of anesthesia for one. I got 7. So imagine it's too much anesthesia for the body for the weight mass that I have. So I still got to. That's why I show you my t-shirt when I'm in a t-shirt. You see how I'm getting skinny, so you can see, and it all has to do with the teeth. It's amazing, amazing. But so far so good. I still look good. There's no danger to too much weight loss and losing certain vital minerals. So everything seems to be fine. The blessings are healing. So I'm doing my prayers too. And mentally, I'm quite resolved that I am going to go through what I'm going through and get through it. I'm going through the transformation. Remember, the planet of transformation is Pluto. And I was born with Pluto in Virgo, conjunct Uranus and the Sun in Virgo in the 12th house, sextile Neptune in Scorpio. So I have the power to regenerate and recreate and reinvent myself from the atom to the full organism. That is Pluto. And you all see my body changing. This is part of the Pluto transformation. And it's happening in secret, privately, in my private life, the 12th house. So you can see how the birth chart or astrology works, how it transforms you, and if you don't even know it, unless you understand these mysteries. How's everybody doing? I don't know if it's too bright or it seems always very opaque to me. Very opaque. I don't know if it's too strong. It looks cloudy to me. Oh my God, I hope I don't need cataracts. I hope I don't need cataracts because I'm like, it's just too, I don't know, nebulous for me. My farmer keeps telling me that I need to go to the eye doctor. I have to go to the eye doctor. But then I'm going to miss Mr. Magoo. Yes, let's see if I can adjust this here. Um, oh, God. You know, that's a blue light. I really, either that or I need the phone clean. Or it looks smoggy, foggy, almost mysterious. But I don't like that look. But it's in a brand new phone. See, all these crazy things be happening. It's a brand new phone, and it looks nebulous. Like there's something here. This is the life of a shaman. Okay. Oh, I will be flying back to Houston on Monday. Already reserved the tickets in there, so that's good. I'll be back in Houston. It's 70 degrees, and it's freezing like hell here in New York. And then, of course, I have to fly back for January 6th for the procedure. And I will. I'm gonna gain some weight. Watch. I'm gonna gain some weight. I'm gonna gain some weight. Well, you're gonna see. I'm gonna be doing videos down there, so same difference. It is Friday, and we have a lot to do. I got clients to see, birth charts and tarot readings to do tonight. I'm starting early, and I'm going to be eating right in front of you. No lunch or dinner breaks, and then I come back. But then the devil strikes. So I'm going to stay on the air. I'm going to go back to back, back to back. I took a little nap because I was tired, and then I was under a lot of anxiety because of the surgery. But I'm glad that, in a way, that I didn't have to, because I don't think I was mentally prepared. So that was good, and I got some needed sleep, and so I'm nice and well rested. Uh, Cloudy too. Oh, it's cloudy to you too? Yes, it's cloudy. And these are the strange phenomena that be happening. And yeah, it's crazy. It's not the lighting. It's amazing. It's crazy. And I can see it in the apartment. And I'm like, is it me? Is it cataracts? So I go outside, but it's clear. So it's in the apartment. Sometimes I'm telling you, strange things be happening in this apartment. The woman who owned this apartment died in the bedroom, and they found her, died in her sleep. Very religious lady. I mentioned it before. Sometimes I will sense her, and I'll say, "Okay, Mrs. Blah blah blah, you're supposed to go now. Remember, it's time to rest now. Jesus is calling you." And I wasn't being facetious, And as my guys settled in, I think she left, And my guys usually lets me know if I should worry, I do get some poltergeists in my house, but the guys don't let it happen for more than an hour, and then it goes away. That's what they're there for my protection. Okay, let's see who's here, so we can jump right in. Let's move this, move it, move it, move it, move it, move it. Here we go. Okay, let me go back, move back. Okay. And of course, my Aperol. Nice and cold and chilled. Let's go. No, Felix, it will be on the 6th of January. I still have to gain more weight. I gotta have at least 5, 6 pounds. One being water and the rest being mineral. Good evening, Joshua Sarat. Good afternoon, Felix. Goddess Alchemy. Benita Sutton, how are you? Please. Genesis Azon. Genesis, I think you're the one in my board that needs a reading. I think you did not submit a phone number, but we got an email. I think you're the one that is missing. Essential Way. Did I get your text message about extraterrestrials? When did you send it? Because I was at the clinic most of the day. Essential Ways, text messages. On my phone, I'm going to check, okay? Or re-text it to me. I didn't see it. Then again, it is a new phone. I'm still working on it, Veronique Vero, how are you? Good to haven't seen you in a while, Veronique. Kiki, how are you? And then we have Great Blackness. I did quit drinking. This is an Aperol. It's an aperitivo. It's only 10%. And that's something that's very common for people who are detoxing. Mahara, how are you? Mr. Capricorn. Hey. Okay, Essential Wave, call me. Goddess, okay, here we go. And we have, oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, it's right, because it's the administrator, Fernando Prudhomme at Gmail, and then there's Fernando Prudhomme Yahoo at Gmail. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to let her know that it's in the administrative Fernando Prudhomme at Gmail, which is the business Gmail. And that's the one that Ms. Farmer looks at. Okay. Reflection, how are you? Welcome. Abdul Abkim, great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You're under the witchcraft attack. Call me privately. I have a few of you that are under witchcraft attack, and I'm doing spells to help you. And I have a few people in Indonesia, Spain, and Ibiza, of all places. Crocatero, yes, how are you? Thank you. Yeah, welcome. Sharik, is that Sharik? Sharik, excuse me. I'm good. I've been watching Sherry G. I know, sometimes it does feel that way. It does. Have you guys experienced your solar eclipse Sagittarius with Mars entering Sag, conjunct the South Node? Some of you have experienced what I was talking about, huh? I certainly did, Miss Farmer certainly did, and several other people, including some of my students and the school. Uh-huh. Conjunction isn't doing stuff. Which conjunction you mean? If Mars conjunct the South Node? It sure is. Let it. It might not hit yet according to your degree, but it will. Imalong, how are you? Imalong, how to get rid of generational curses. There's a certain prayers that have to be said to get rid of the generational curses. Let me know what language, and I'll direct you to where to find them. I have them myself, but they're in Spanish. My Mars is in Sag too, so is mine. So I definitely felt it in the third house of communication, surgeries. The congenital South Node, it didn't happen. It'll happen on the 6th of January when it passes the South Node. Isn't that interesting? Something deep down told me that it might not happen. This happened before. It was postponed. My colleagues messed up with witchcraft. I let her that when I closed my eyes. That every evening I woke up from bad headaches, and when you closed my eyes, I felt whole body transformed into reptilian. Wait a minute, what is this? My colleague messed up with witchcraft. Okay. Do you think people are born inherently good or bad? Both. Because our Creator is both. Do you think I've been doing my own astral karma clearing? Very good, very good. And then we have another comment says, Titania Rodriguez, welcome. Titania Rodriguez, Seva Scott. Welcome. These are new people. Guys of Alchemy, you've come back. Thank you. I had a bad tooth extraction and been experiencing headaches. My Pluto is in Libra, opposing the Aries, which rules teeth, along with Saturn in Aries. Read Psalm number 15. Psalm number 15 is good for dental pain. I read them, and it will free me of pain. Take some olive oil, put it on your finger, and do a sign of the cross. 3 crosses where the tooth pain is on your cheek. Like a cross. 3 crosses where the tooth where it hurts. And do the Lord's Prayer. Imagine the tooth, the pain stop. Visualize the pain stop right in its tracks. Release it. And even if it still hurts, imagine and pretend like it doesn't hurt. Trust me, in 30 seconds, the pain will go away. That's the power of that olive oil and prayer. Okay? Don't. It is the ultimate magical spell. Hello. I call you. Yes. How are you? Yes. Great. I have started. Okay. Clothes work excellent too. Yeah, clothes work, but up to a certain degree. And clothes will burn the inside of your gums and the wall of your cheeks. So be careful. Trust me, the prayer, which is miraculous, with the olive oil anointing, it works, and you don't have to deal with the clove. Only work to a certain degree. If the extent of the pain is that severe, you'll have to go back to the dentist. Something may have gone wrong. And it does happen. Okay. Daniela Barizela. Does hell exist? Hell exists only because we were forced to believe that it's real, and as a race of billions of humans, we gave energy to it, and we believed it. So now it is real. It has become real, but only as a parallel reality. In real reality created by the gods, no. But man's imagination, yes. Directed by, corruptors. How do you know? You will feel cold, a chill down your spine. It will be uncomfortable, if they have bad intentions, especially. Your spirit will let you know, trust me. Is there a prayer to help to drugs? Yes. Number 11, Psalm number 11. Uh-huh. Why should an eighth house have intimacy issues? Because the eighth house is the house of sex, ruled by Scorpio. Thank you, Veronique. Oh well, I look at the. It ain't. I know it looks like an act, like a prop, but I really need it. It's crazy. Thank you. I was seeing a green old lady in a what? In a handkerchief. I've seen a green old lady. Ooh, wait a minute. I was in a girl in a wheelchair telling me they're there. Even better. Well, yeah, it could be. It could be that she. It's well, it doesn't have a lot of information. I hope it didn't upset you or make you scared or get you scared. I hope not. All righty. Okay. Oh, I don't think so. Is it really? Okay. Archons, we discussed. Oops. There. We discussed, right, that there are different classifications of archons. We've gone through a few that we've been told were angels and demons, like the Bible, the fall, the Yoruba, the Orishas, or something. They had a whole, where did they come from? They are part of the, fallen ones. But again, these were not thrown out. They left on their own, and they're not allowed to return because of the great transgression against mating with humans without permission from the chief archon who has created the physical form and has jurisdiction over anything of physical matter. So that's one category. And then you have those that actually defy the Creator Jehovah and try to invade the solar system and will cast out of these planetary solar systems, or the heavens, as the Bible says, and they fell here. Now, that is how the Bible says it, and that's how it was written. I don't believe it happened quite that way. I think there's more to the story. The book of Enoch goes into complex detail about what that battle was, as well as the Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and the Mahabharata of India. Also details some kind of solar system to solar system battle between other beings and from a different galactic federation. And it's some deep shit, that is as outrageous as science fiction itself. Outrageous. If you read the Mahabharata, you read that shit. I just I was sweating. I just sit down and get a drink. That was when I was drinking those days. I was like, oh my god, and you couldn't believe it. Something out of Star Wars. You just couldn't believe it. And it's hard to believe it. I have to convince myself to believe it. Because it's just outrageous to believe what went on here. Crazy. Well, so we had that category, and we have the fight God, that the great aerial battle that took place. So that's two. Uh, in the book of Enoch, there is a reference made to several archons, and the names have been given in the book of Enoch. There is over 22 classifications of archons. Classification. And in each class, there's dozens of more. But that makes sense. If there are this much billions and trillions of stars, then there's got to be billions and trillions of archons out there, of different forms of matter. Do the math. Do the math. So know that what I'm discussing here is only a drop in the bucket. Not even. It's a drop in the ocean. It's a drop in the ocean. And I don't think our oceans are big enough to compare to this type of ocean. So you can imagine what's out there. It says in the Bible, the kingdom of God has not reached the imagination of man. That's deep. Because we as human beings imagine all kinds of things. Look at the great science fiction movies, the fantasy movies. Think of Walt Disney. Think of The Wizard of Oz of the 1920s and how masterfully that was created. We have heights of imagination that even impresses us. But it's pussy compared to God and what that is and the kingdom. Look, it has not reached the imagination of man. So can you imagine? It can give you a headache just to pontificate, contemplate such an idealism. You might get a heart attack and collapse. So I want you to understand the magnitude of what's out there. And me explaining this is, to me, it feels meaningless, counterproductive, because there's so many, and I could be completely wrong. Yes, I do know that certain classifications of archons exist. I have dealt with them myself, some of them. I have them myself. But this is one classification that we are familiar with in occult science, and those of us who are initiates. We're not familiar with anything else other than our own that influence our system. So this whole paradigm of an explanation of this classification of beings can completely go out the window tomorrow with a whole new frame of reference that even I won't be able to fulfill. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, really. Congratulations, we have one more student admitted into the school. So we got two more and one scholarship recipient. Congratulations for those of you. Ms. Farmer will be sending you your acceptance and award letter. Thanks to the donations that you guys give, we're able to give up 2 scholarships a year. And it's documented that that's where your money's go. That's where your money's go. So understand that you are all a part of it. Okay. All right. Now, we have archons that live in the sun. These archons are supposed to be there, and they are extremely advanced. Yes, there are beings that live on the sun. Yes. Remember, nothing gives me more pleasure than to prove it to you. So, that I don't have to worry about being refuted. That's the fun part for me. But yes, there are beings that live in the sun. And they're extremely advanced beings. They're so advanced that they're not allowed to come here. They're so advanced that they shine a yellow light. It is the light of their bodies that we call the sunshine or sun rays. So if you want to know what that essence is, it is of extraterrestrial origin, of actual life beings. The light itself is alive. See, these things are not apparent when we are in physical matter, carbon matter. But if you venture into other dimensions and realms with your other bodies that you have inside you, then you're going to see that this world is minuscule in comparison to what's out there. Still, though, I would not recommend that you guys toy with that stuff. But you have to know. I have to discuss it. So you'll understand that these beings don't just live in physical other planets. They live right in front of you, too, in different dimensions that we cannot perceive. And not all of them come through spaceships. The majority, believe it or not, move interdimensionally. The spaceships situation, like everything else evolves and expands, there was a time when they couldn't leave their planet. And as things evolve and time evolves, now they have the technology to go outside their solar system, just like we. We could not go outside of our own solar system or our own planet. Now we have orbits around the planet, the moon, we got a space station, and we have been to all the planets, to the Cassini space probe and Cassandra and other cosmological vehicles that awarded us that possibility. Everything evolves. Tomorrow we're going to be in spaceships ourselves, going to other solar systems, just like these people are coming here. Everything evolves in nature. Nothing stands still. Things either evolve or they degenerate in nature. So understand that those archons are there because they volunteered to create the sun. Now, as above, so below. The sun can be scientifically explained as a ball of gas of hydrogen burning, giving off this fire that looks like the color yellow. Well, these archons are fire spirits or fire archons. And it is their fire which makes the science of hydrogen and the burning fuel that is the sun explainable. I just gave you the spiritual aspect that science will never see under their microscope or see in their mathematical equations. There is a polarity to everything. The mathematical equations of the cosmologist has a polarity which is spiritual, an essence which gives backing to the scientific, but it hides from the view of the primary eyes because it's not made for carbon matter. It distorts the illusion, right? Scientists are terrified to go that far. So they refute it. And they justify by saying that they don't see it in their math equations, they don't see it in their microscope. And no, nonsense, hot bars. Ha 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 ha. You know how they do. So we have to leave them alone and let them stumble upon it eventually. So we have then Mercury. The beings that live in Mercury, yes, there are beings that live in Mercury. Yet, no, you will not see them, hear them, smell them, touch them, because they're made of a different essence than we are. And these beings are very advanced, but not as advanced as those of the sun. You really want to know who sparked civilization? Let's say, for the purposes of argument, that the Anunnaki did come down in Sumer Now remember, the big deal about Sumer is that mankind was still very primitive, cave dwellers. And before they were cave dwellers, they were nomads. And then from nomads meaning that they just roam and had no structure, no life, like Tarzan, you know. And the story of Tarzan, believe it or not, has an occult meaning. Showing man, this white dude swinging from trees and acting like they're telling you right there that man's consciousness was still in the animal state, even in the prehistoric times. The Flintstones, believe it or not, is telling you the truth that mankind lived while the dinosaurs were here. Pisces age, they gave us the opposite as fiction and false, and the true as false. See? Put it together. I learned later on in graduate school at Columbia that they did live together. So the stories of the Flintstones was actually true. And Hanna-Barbera, the creator of the Flintstones and those cartoons in that genre in the 80s, is a member of the club. Oh, it's deep, but it's about to get deeper. The evidence is right in your face. So, let's say that the Anunnaki came and from the nomads, right? For nomads, then they went to hunter-gatherers. It was around here that man began to get together and form community. Still very savage and primitive. And in the Old Testament, Abraham lived in a tent. And so this is telling you that this was very primitive. It was at that time, which can parallel Sumer, that they came and sparked man into a higher level of expression. So man went from being in cave dwellers and hunter-gatherers to overnight civilizations and empires and buildings and aqueducts and music, literature. What? Overnight. Okay. It didn't happen overnight, but it did happen quite quickly enough. But who's to say that when the great age or cataclysm comes and destroys the epoch, that things don't jumpstart all over again? See, we were taught in history that time and events, which we call history, had a starting point, and we are still in that starting point, moving across time. Not true. Time moves like this, like a pulse. And each pulse is the beginning and end, alpha and omega, of a period, epoch, era, age. And there is a difference in how you break it apart. You can manipulate shit and hide shit. What happened in Sumer was a recapitulation. I mentioned it before. What went on before. Just a cycle. Boop, 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 boop. The ones who brought culture, knowledge, and rising consciousness to mankind, which allowed him to create what we call culture, was the beings from the planet of Mercury, a planet of intelligence, the ruler of a Gemini. At the time, it wasn't assigned to Virgo, although Virgo was quite in existence at the time. And Virgo, believe it or not, like Gemini, are very concerned with culture and things that make human beings more refined. And Venus is the next planet that has also beings from there came here and they taught mankind the grace of being human. If you go to the fucking woods and you shit on the wood because there's no paper, right? We're talking about primitive time. And you take a leaf and you clean yourself, but you don't wash your hands. They don't know that this stuff in your butt, it has bacteria that can kill you if it lands in the wrong place. Like E. coli. Man did not know things like that. Still animal and moving from the plant stage. It was in this area, in this time, which is called the Hyperborean, or the end of the Polarian, Hyperborean, in which something occurred, in which these beings came and they've jump-started mankind. But this jump-start has an origin also. The Great Fall was the first jump off. Everything else has been a replica, but in different formats of the same story. And to long story short, it was the beings and the Luciferian spirits, which could be one or the other, or a combination of both, that appeared, and they are reptilian in nature. Not as advanced as those of the solar sun, but more advanced than humans. These beings were not perfect either, but they were far more advanced than we were. And it was they. Now, how did they end up in this system to do what they did? That's not clearly explained. Which is why there's a lot that has been taken away. And the book of Enoch, I'm still reading, I've been reading it for years. It's very complex reading, extremely complex reading. It details there that it was these beings that awoken mankind. But the Bible doesn't tell you what, by giving the apple. Now, I don't know if you remember I had done a video where I explained to you what the apple was. The apple, and you know what? They're telling you in your face. They're telling you in your face. The Apple computer. Why does a computer have an emblem of an apple? Isn't it interesting? And it has the same bite. And it's the same apple of Adam and Eve. That's not by accident. What the Archons gave Eve was mind. Man didn't have a mind. He had a brain, but he didn't have a mind. When they gave him mind, that's when he awoke. And if you think about it, the mind has the five senses, not the brain, the mind. It was that awoke, and man became aware that he was naked. That's why the ego was born. This was the gift given to Eve, which Jehovah did not want the Archons to give, because it would awaken man too early and spark him into an evolution of independence. Just like people break from different countries where they're under oppression and they become independent, so too we were independent of the Creator when we awoke to consciousness. Something that was not supposed to happen according to Genesis. I told you it's going to get deep. Deep. The apple was the mind, and the computer is the mind, isn't it? Isn't it a computer mind? You can connect to everything, like the mind of God. The Wizard of Oz. Who was the wizard? It was the guy in a computer. The mind, they're telling you shit right there in front of you. 1 second, please. I have to put the tassel. Yes, I can't be talking deep stuff without putting the tassel. I had to go back and put the tassel. Uh, they gave us their mind. That's why we think like them, act like them. They know us because they gave us their mind. That's some deep shit. That's why they can hear us. We could hear them. They can influence us. They gave us their mind. Let me see what some of you have to say about that. Yeah, that was deep. I felt that one. Oof. Uh-huh. What you can what some of you can say. So that's why Apple has its name. That's right. And the Kabbalah is your keyboard, the Sephirah. This is great. I thank you, Shireen Roberts. Oh, I have my protection. I do. I don't do things like this and I be protected. Trust me. Oh. Yes, reptilian brain. Yes. Okay, hey, love. Yeah, this is what the church is angry at what I'm doing. What parasites and how ancient they are, I think about the movie Venom. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned that movie Venom because that movie got some shit too. Mm-hmm. What's fiction is not. And what they call real is fiction. The good and evil you can with your phone. Mm-hmm. Why they choose us, and if they gave us their mind, why are they in hiding? I have no idea. Even the Bible doesn't actually say apple. It was indeed fruit of tree of knowledge. And a computer is a fruit of knowledge. You can connect to anything and everything. It makes sense, guys. Think about it. Think about it. Do Archons have a gender? Yes, they do. Yes, all facts. Yes, the venom is real. You're thinking it because they're telling you. Listen to your thoughts. So all humans aren't human. We are hybrid with reptilians. Yes, that's why the reptilian or the serpent is in every culture and in every race. That reptilian is in every culture, every race. They're telling you something. How does an Archon picket host? Luisa Sanchez, the bloodline. How do he choose the host? Great question. They have to be infiltrated in the bloodline. Okay. I've seen an entity green face and lost eyes, no mouth or nose, just a floating head. And can archons appear as mosquitoes? Some of them can do that, yes. I can change into all kinds of things when I'm in my astral body. So if I can do it, then the answer is yes. Can crystals and alchemy help protect you? Yes, it does. Yes, it can. I have crystals myself in the altar. Is that why humans are working to create more advanced AI? Because what? Because we are mimicking our creator? That's fantastic. I don't know, but that I won't be surprised if that's the case. Because we do what we know. No, thank you. Explain Shiva with the serpent ankh. Oh, I've done that already. And at the moment, I can't reference it because I have to bring facts. So I have to prepare for that. Oh, Uncle, I need to call you. You call me Shireen Roberts, 347-485-6258. Martin Scorpus second house. So the church want to manipulate us and put a false perception against what's going on. That's correct. Okay, to conclude, it's been 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Oh, man. Okay. The sun is one classification of archons. The ones in Mercury are another classification. And those in Venus, the moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And in the asteroids, yes, there are beings that live in asteroids as well. Apophis that is due to hit in 2029, according to NASA, is extremely large. And I know that there are beings living in Apophis. I know that, but I don't know what they are, what their makeup is. There is nothing empty in space, guys. That's an illusion. There's nothing empty. Don't think that because it's dark, black, other than it's empty space. If to be honest, it's more full there than here. Here is a vacuum for a particular soap opera of reality to be gone, boom, the next moment. So, compared to this immensity, don't our life's problems seem shit compared to this grand scheme of things? Take your problem to the grain of salt. I do. Because in the end, it's an illusion, but it feels real. And those are the Archons that woke us up to the reality and physicality of the real world. Well, so-called real, quote unquote real. We know it's not. Yeah. Each planet is a classification in and of itself of these Archons. And there are other names for them other than the planets. But I gave you the bottom line of what they are. That's a whole classification. And I will come back, and maybe not tonight, to do another Archon to discuss another classification. And this one is the classification of fixed stars and the entities that live there. All right. Please donate and give and call for a reading.